The glass walls of the Horizon Institute stretched toward the sky like crystalline fingers reaching for answers. Inside, Dr. Sarah Chen stood before a microscope, watching as engineered cells multiplied with impossible speed. Her creation wasn't just growing, it was thriving. "The telomeres are holding," she whispered, more to herself than to her colleague, Dr. Marcus Reed, who paced behind her. "They're not just maintaining length, they're regenerating." The implications were staggering. After 15 years of research, they had finally discovered a way to prevent cellular aging. Through the glass walls, Sarah could see other scientists in their own sections, each pursuing different aspects of human enhancement. Down the hall, Dr. Patel's team was working on genetic modifications to enhance human memory. 2 floors up, they were developing artificial organs that could outlast their organic counterparts. "We're not just pushing boundaries anymore," Sarah said, turning back to her notes. "We're erasing them completely. These cells, they're human, but they're also something else entirely." In the petri dish before them, human cells weren't just surviving, they were becoming immortal. "We need to move to human trials," Marcus said, his voice tight with excitement. "These results are beyond anything we've seen before." Sarah pulled away from the microscope, her hands trembling slightly. "It's too soon," she replied, though her heart raced at the possibility. "We don't know the long-term effects. The cellular division rates alone could revolutionize medicine as we know it," Marcus interrupted. The laboratory hummed around them, machines whirring like mechanical heartbeats. Through the glass walls, Sarah could see other scientists in their own sections, each pursuing different aspects of human enhancement. Down the hall, Dr. Patel's team was working on genetic modifications to enhance human memory. 2 floors up, they were developing artificial organs that could outlast their organic counterparts. "We're not just pushing boundaries anymore," Sarah said, turning back to her notes. "We're erasing them completely. These cells, they're human, but they're also something else entirely." Marcus leaned against the lab bench, his eyes fixed on the petri dish. Sarah thought about her mother, withering away in a nursing home, her mind and body betraying her one cell at a time. She thought about all the patients waiting for organ transplants, about children with genetic diseases, about all the suffering their work could prevent. But she also thought about the implications. Who would have access to this technology? What would happen to society when some could afford to live for centuries, while others aged naturally? Would it create a new class divide, the mortal and the immortal? "The ethics board will never approve human trials," she said finally, "not without more data." Marcus's expression hardened. "The ethics board is holding us back. They're so focused on what could go wrong that they can't see what could go right." The air in the lab felt heavier suddenly, charged with the weight of possibility and responsibility. Sarah looked at their creation again, cells that defied the natural order, that laughed in the face of mortality itself. "We're not gods, Marcus," she said softly. "We're scientists," he cut in. "Our job is to push forward, to discover, to evolve. If we let fear hold us back, we'll never achieve anything meaningful." Sarah watched as another cell divided perfectly, its telomeres intact, its potential unlimited. She thought about the line between advancement and arrogance, between progress and hubris. Where was that line? And had they already crossed it? A notification popped up on her tablet. The ethics board wanted to review their latest results. Sarah looked at Marcus, saw the determination in his eyes, the unwavering belief that they were right. "They'll shut us down if they know how far we've come," he said, his voice low. "We need to protect our work." Sarah's finger hovered over the tablet screen. In that moment, she held more than just data. She held the future of human evolution, the potential to rewrite the rules of life itself. The question wasn't just whether they could do it, but whether they should. The laboratory continued its mechanical symphony around them, instruments measuring, recording, analyzing. Outside, the sun was setting, casting long shadows through the glass walls. Somewhere in those shadows lay the answer to their dilemma, but finding it would require more than just scientific brilliance. It would require wisdom. And wisdom, Sarah realized, was the one thing their experiments couldn't engineer.